Hi everybody, this is the last video that goes over some more dimensional analysis techniques. I want to go over this one particular problem that is going to incorporate a very important conversion that you need to know. As I said in the previous video, there are certain conversions that you need to memorize. One of those conversions is what I like to call the gateway conversion. It's very important because it's basically what helps you to convert from metric units to English units. English units you are very well aware of. Those are the inches, the foot, yard, etc. Metric units are stuff like centimeter, meter, micrometer, and what scientists normally use are metric units. As a matter of fact, everywhere around the world, what they use are metric units. The only place we use English units is here in America. So it's very important for us to be able to convert from one system to another system. That gateway conversion is given to you right here. 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So make sure that you memorize this and have it as part of your arsenal when you're taking exams. With that in mind, let's try to do this problem. The volume of a wooden block is 6.3 inches. This is equivalent to how many micrometers? As you can tell, 6.3 inches, that's the English unit, and we're going to basically have to convert this to a unit in metrics, which is the micrometer. So how would we set this up? Remember, as I said before, they want to know how many micrometers, so we don't start with micrometers, we start with the other thing. They give us the 6.3 inches, so that's what we would start with. 6.3 inches, and I need to get from inches to micrometers. The only way to get from an English unit to a metric unit is through that gateway conversion. So automatically you should be putting down that conversion that we just learned. 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. If I do that, my inches will cancel, and now I'm in units of centimeters. From this point forward, all you're doing is dealing with powers of 10 in the metric units. So what has to go on the bottom? A centimeter, because you want to be able to cancel or get rid of that centimeter. Do you know how many centimeters are in a micrometer? No, you don't. So you would only create the relationship between something that you do know. You know the relationship between a prefix, like the centi, and the home base. Home base is the guy without any prefix, so just the meter by itself. So you would basically go from the centimeter to the meter. If you can remember how to do this for every single problem that deals with metric units, you will always get this right. When you have to go from one metric unit to another metric unit, the best way to do it is to go through home base. I call it home base because it's basically the one that doesn't have any prefix. Because you know the relationship between home base and everybody else. And remember in the video that we talked about the metric units, all you needed to know was the power of 10. This is where it becomes important. So you go from a centimeter to a meter because a meter is the home base. Now the next question is, where do you put the power of 10? The power of 10 always goes with the home base. Remember that saying. If you always put the power of 10 with the home base, then you will always get it right. The home base is the guy that doesn't have a prefix. It's the guy with just the meter, not the centi, not the micro, not the whatever. It's the guy with no prefix. So you would put, what is a centi? A centi is 10 to the negative 2. So you would put 10 to the negative 2 next to the meter. What goes with the centimeter? A 1. Every time you do this, the power of 10 always goes with the home base, and the other guy always gets a number 1. If you read this like a sentence, remember you're creating relationships. So when you read this like a sentence, look what it says. It says 10 to the negative 2 meters is 1 centimeter. That is a correct relationship. Make sure you understand that. And if you read it the other way, it also makes sense. 1 centimeter is equal to 10 to the negative 2 meters. That also makes sense. So From this point on, you are in units of meter. We're not done because we need to get to micrometers, right? So we know the relationship between meters and micrometers because, again, we always know the relationship between home base and a prefix. So you put meters on the bottom because you need to cancel out meters, and then what would you put on top? Micrometers. Now the question becomes, where do you put the power of 10? Remember, we just learned the power of 10 always goes with home base. Home base is the guy with no prefix. So what is a micrometer? A micrometer is 10 to the negative 6. So that power of 10 goes with the home base. What goes next to the micrometer? A number 1. And go ahead and try to read that as a relationship. 1 micrometer is 10 to the negative 6 meters. That makes sense. Now you're pretty much done because you're in the unit that you need to be and everything else has canceled out. So what you would do is you would take your calculator and do 6.3 times 2.54 times 10 to the negative second divided by 10 to the negative 6. You should get 160020 micrometers, basically 160,000 micrometers. But you know that you can only have 3 significant figures because the only measured value in this problem was at 6.30 from the beginning. So you would cut that off and you would only give me 1.60 times 10 to the 5th micrometers. That is how you would do this problem. I want to do this problem again, but instead with cubed units, just to make sure that we practice those cubed units. Obviously, the setup is going to be the same. You're going to start off with 6.30 inches. And remember how we take care of problems that have squared or cubed or quadrupled or whatever power units. We started off like a normal problem. So you would do 6.3 inches, and I know that the only way to get from English units to metric units is through the gateway conversion. So 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. Let's keep going. I know that it's inches cubed, but let's keep going because remember what we said before, take care of it like if it's a normal problem without the cube. So just go from centimeters to meters because it's the same path, and then we're going to go from meters to micrometers. Same exact thing. Now the problem becomes we have that inches cubed and on the top, and that inches cubed does not cancel with the inches by itself on the bottom. So what would we do? We would need to put brackets around that entire fraction and put a little 3 as a superscript. Now what does that do? That cubes everybody inside that bracket. So now you have inches cubed and you also have centimeters cubed. Of course, now the inches cubed cancels, and you have to remember that everything inside is also cubed. So now it's 2.54 times 2.54 times 2.54. Remember to do that when you put it into your calculator. Let's move on. We obviously have to cube the entire next fraction as well because centimeters cubed does not cancel with centimeters by itself as it is right now. So bracket that entire fraction, and now the centimeters on the bottom is cubed as well as the meters on the top is cubed. And you would obviously have to do it for the last fraction so that you can get micrometers cubed at the end. When you do all of this and you put it into your calculator, please remember, I'm going to tell you one more time, please remember that you have to cube everything inside those brackets. So it's not 10 to the negative second meters that you're multiplying. It's now 10 to the negative second times 10 to the negative second times 10 to the negative second. I want to give you a little trick. When you are multiplying powers of 10, you're basically, what you're doing is adding them. So a quick way to do this by hand is instead of putting 10 to the negative second 3 times into your calculator, all you got to do is say, well, what's 10 to the negative second times 3? Because it's 10 to the negative 2 plus 10 to the negative 2 plus 10 to the negative 2. That equals 10 to the negative 6. So all you would really have to do is 6.30 inches times 2.54 cubed times 10 to the negative 6 10 to the negative 6 divided by 10 to the negative 18th. Why negative 18th? Because 6 times 3, 6 plus 6 plus 6, negative 6 plus negative 6 plus negative 6 is negative 18. So whenever you're multiplying exponents, you're really adding them. So that's just a quick little tip if you that might help you so you don't have to keep inputting numbers into your calculator. All right, so if you do all of that and multiply and divide all of that through, you should get 1.03 times 10 to the 14th micrometers cubed. All right, guys, this is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope that it has helped you. The most important parts of this video is please remember your gateway conversion. So anytime you go from an English unit to a metric unit, you got to use that gateway conversion, and how to manipulate conversions within the metric unit. So going from a meter to a centimeter, or a meter to a kilometer, or a kilometer to a micrometer. To do that, you always have to go through home base, like I showed you in the first in these two problems. One more thing is to try to make sure that you know how to do these cubed units, squared units, whatever units. Make sure that you're comfortable with that, because you're definitely going to see those probably in exams, quizzes, assessments, etc. All right, see you later.